optics matter. I mean, they really do. In fact, I would argue a lot of what politics is happens to be optics. And right now, the Democrat Party is finding itself in an increasingly challenging situation because if you consider the optics of what just transpired over the weekend, they're not good. In fact, for Democrats, they're pretty much darn terrible. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Please, if you have not subscribed to the full audio podcast on Apple iTunes, do me the favor of going over to Apple iTunes and subscribing to that, or on Spotify. It's actually really, really important because this is how the message gets out. Just you subscribing. That's all you have to, and it's free. All of it's free. I am here every single day for you, all for free, because I feel that this is so important. And there's a lot of information that needs to be shared and a lot of opinion that needs to be shared. So please subscribe to this channel if you're watching the video version on Rumble or on YouTube. And do me the favor of going to Apple iTunes and subscribing to the actual podcast for free right there. Portions of today's program are brought to you by Legacy Precious Metals. There's never been a better time to invest in precious metals than now, so go to legacypminvestments.com for more, legacypminvestments.com for more. All right, optics are sort of everything. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid and my mom would wrap presents for family members, she spent a lot of time and a lot of care on that present and how it looked and what ribbons she was using. And it really, I mean, she did a beautiful job wrapping these gifts. What a talent. And her feeling was that it was that much better if it looked good. She also used to do the same thing, when she'd put out dinner, when we'd have people over for dinner, everything always looked nice. She'd do a gorgeous cheese and fruit plate, all that good stuff, because to her, she said it tasted better. It seemed better if it looked good. Getting back to this point of how optics are kind of everything in a lot of different ways, including in politics. Well, Joe Biden was just over in Saudi Arabia doing a fist bump with MBS, who, by the way, he just tore up one side and down the other, for years. Right? Let's not forget some of the previous things the Democrats and specifically Joe Biden have said about Saudi Arabia, and they were so highly critical of Donald Trump because he maintained a relationship with Saudi Arabia. Well, the reason he maintained that is because, let's be very clear, in the interest of real politics, in the interest of putting America first, in the interest of standing by allies that you've built up, granted, look, I get it. The Saudis have the issues that they have, and we have issues with them, and yet we still need their oil until we don't, right? Which is why it's so critical and so important that we are energy independent. Any moron ought to be able to figure that one out. And yet you want to go and say all these things about Saudi Arabia, and then you get on a plane because oil prices are soaring and you realize it's going to cost you and your party the seats that you need in Congress and likely the White House, and then you get on the plane and go over there and do the fist bump. I mean, I'm sorry. Again, optics are everything. This is not a beautifully wrapped present, folks. This is not a very nice cheese platter. This is politics at its worst. And it's also politics being played quite poorly. I told you on Friday, I don't think the guy can play a game of chess, Joe Biden. I mean, he can't even move his pawns out of the way. He can't figure out, nor can anyone around him, one move to the next. And so now they're there groveling, and Americans are like, well, what the heck? I mean, we got oil in Texas. We got all the oil we need here. So why don't you do what you need to do to make sure that the business community feels secure enough that you're actually going to not stand in the way of them getting the oil out of the ground, right? Again, optics. Because when the administration is constantly telling you we're in this transition to a different source of energy, which, by the way, I'm not going to dispute. Go for it, guys. Go for as much as you can because we sure as heck need to be energy independent. Well, when they keep telling you that, do you think as an investor, you're feeling really good about putting money into a new rig? Of course you're not. Because again, optics matter, and that affects the price of oil on a global scale. So we've got a messed up situation with inflation as a result of these very poor optics continuing to move forward. It's why I want to give a shout out to an organization that is working so hard to protect you, to protect me, to protect every hardworking American out there, and prevent these inflationary policies from robbing us of everything that we have worked hard to secure and to achieve. And that's the Association of Mature American Citizens. Wonderful group of people working in Washington, D.C. and throughout the country with all of us behind them. They've got more than 2 million Americans. I think the latest number was 2.4 million Americans that have joined forces with AMAC to make sure that our voices are heard. It's a tremendous organization. You can join or you can renew today. Go to amac.us/my last name Regan, Regan, amac.us/Regan. And for only $16 a year. I've made the mistake, occasionally I say per month, because it really is a great deal. And you get all kinds of discounts and all kinds of things, from travel to restaurants to cell phone plans to a lot of guidance even in your healthcare plans. I mean, this is this is money what you call well spent. So it's $16 a year. That's nothing. And you can join forces with people like you, with people like me, who care about the policies that are going to matter for this country. So go to amac.us/Regan today, renew or sign up. Let me know how you like it. I think it's going to be great. Again, the discounts will save you all that $16 within a week. amac.us/Regan. But back to this inflation that's happening as a result of the very poor optics from this administration. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. You've heard me say that before. We're going to be looking at producer prices this week. We got the CPI, which showed us, of course, 9.1% of an increase. And you've heard me tell you, it's even worse than that because of the changes in how they calculate inflation right now. So we're in a challenging spot. Democrats are in a challenging spot, fortunately, right? Because if Americans actually wanted this to continue, I'd really start to have my doubts. I really would. But I think people have woken up to the reality that the person in the White House has a big effect on overall morale, on the direction of policy that so matters, and therefore on your economic well-being. And people know that they're not better off now. In fact, whoever runs against Joe Biden, and increasingly, look, it's early in politics, increasingly is looking like it might be Donald Trump, possibly Ron DeSantis, we shall see. But whoever it is, all they have to do is get on stage and pull a Reagan, right? You just say, hey, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And I think overwhelmingly the answer to that is no. When times are good, people forget about the importance of policy. In fact, I think that we've seen that happen throughout our political history. When the economy is doing well, people take it for granted. But when it's not doing well, that's when they go to the ballot box. That's when they cast a vote against the incumbent or incumbents, as I believe we will see this November. Because people have had it. They can't take this anymore. And you know what? All the polling data suggests that. It really does. And that should give you a sense of encouragement. It should remind you that when push comes to shove, the American people, we always get it right. That's what the Democrats don't understand. Really, they just don't get, they think we just want socialism, right? Like, socialism is the way to go. We can all feel really good about ourselves because they're helping one another, except in fact, you're not actually helping anyone, and certainly not the people that you pretend to want to help. Socialism causes a real devastation, frankly, in the lifestyles of so many people, so many in the middle class and poor Americans. And so it doesn't work. It's been tried over and over again. And they keep coming back with this. Well, again, it maybe flies. It maybe flies when the economy is doing well and people are prosperous enough and they have the ability to have these distractions. But when things are as tough as they are now, Americans are not going to stand for it. Mark my words. Do me this favor. Again, make sure you sign up for that full audio podcast on Apple iTunes or on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, Google Podcasts as well. It is important. Do make sure you go to my website, trishintel.com, where you can get all the latest news and information. Again, that's trishintel.com. Sign up for my newsletter, and I will see you right back here tomorrow.